Hey guys, I'm Perplexality, and this is ODST Halo Guide. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And right here you're going to see some Community Corner Episode 5, which Community Corner is just where community members send in their gameplay, and they message me on Xbox or something just telling me to check it out, and then I'll record it and tell you what you did right and what you did wrong. And we got some gameplay from Prophecy is AoT. And he has a great opening right here, which is where he kind of rushes mid. But you see right here, he's not really pushing off of mid. Like, a lot of people try going after kills at the start of the game. So they'll go to mid, try and get some kills, and then they'll kind of go off of mid trying to do something else. But you see, he's kind of staying pretty close to mid. And the beauty about that is controlling the middle allows you to control how you move around the map. Like, when you're playing chess, when you start off a game in chess, your objective is never to kill enemy pieces. Like, if you can do it, that's great. But your objective is actually to control the center of the map, because from the center you can easily get out to any of the surrounding areas. So when you're holding the middle of the map in Halo, you're easily able to go from your base, their base, you're able to go to Mohawk from Open Ramp. If you're not familiar with those callouts, you can kind of check them out, but it's useful to know the callouts, by the way. But if you control the middle of the map, you're really able to maneuver, and your team's able to do it. So I always try having like some guys holding the middle of the map. You're gonna see a perfection gameplay that I uploaded where I played a game battle, and I just stayed in ring 3 on Abandon. I stayed there the entire game. I got a 17-0 perfection, but it allowed us to kind of control enemy spawns and positioning. It allowed us to move around the map a lot easier, while the rest of my team actually went out in the map and did like whatever. So it's really important to focus on map control, which he did pretty well. He kind of gave up on it, but I think it's pretty important to get someone controlling that mid. Usually if I'm playing alone, I'll just sit up there and try controlling the middle as much as possible, because there's obvious I can't do anything without teammates. So I just try being that teammate for someone else instead of trying to just carry myself over to victory, which you can't do. Now I noticed this guy's gameplay. I can kind of tell he's used to playing alone. He might play a lot of free-for-all, but just by kind of his gameplay, I can tell that he's not really used to working as a unit, which is something it's hard to transition between when you're used to playing free-for-all and you go back to playing team games or something. Also, he's challenging a lot. Like, he already was half shield when he challenged that guy. That's a result of playing free-for-all too much, which is, in free-for-all, you're always challenging guys because you're probably going to die anyways. Like, you're always surrounded and stuff, and someone's going to kill you. But there's actually a safe zone in your base. Like, you can kind of sit back there where you're not going to be shot at. So when you're half shield, you want to not contest too much. You have teammates to back you up and stuff, and sometimes it's better just to bow down and give them the kill than it is to try and get the kill and probably die. Like right here, he goes up there trying to start a fight when he's already no shield, and that's going to get him killed. But he has some good 1v1 skills, if you notice. That's a result of free-for-all as well. Your 1v1s are really built on having free-for-alls and whatnot. Because you see, he's kind of going in alone, and he's kind of contesting a lot. Like right here, I would have kept the high ground. But when you go in real close like that, you're pretty much asking to die when you have the high ground. He got really lucky with that grenade, but by all means, the other guy probably should have killed him. So you want to work on not rushing into the fights too much. It's not really the fact that he's too aggressive. Being aggressive is good. In fact, all MLG players end up being really aggressive players. I think the problem is that he's just too fast for his own good. He's trying to get everything too quickly. Like, when you're aggressive, you're not necessarily going at it fast. You're just going at it and keeping the pressure on the enemies, getting into the bases and whatnot. See, like right here, he's kind of sitting back. He's keeping pressure on him, but he's not rushing in or anything. And when guys rush to him, yeah, he's going to go ahead and fight him. His teammate's going to be there. And then he's just going to go back to kind of camping on blue plat. I think that's blue plat. Might be red plat. I always get confused with the colors. But, see, like right here, he's just kind of controlling that little area of the map. I don't know why he keeps running back to his base. Top mid is a really nice area to be at, because you can see and control a lot of the map, again. Which, that may be, again, that mentality of being in free-for-all and everything. And top mid is a death zone in free-for-all. It's a zone to get a lot of kills, but it's also a death zone. So that might be a product of that mentality as well. And you saw he just picked up a second power weapon. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, because that's a big no-no in my book. Which I've done on rare occasion, but only when it suited me. there's a proper way to use 2 power weapons, and there's an improper way. And you see, he does something called twitch sniping, which when he was shooting at that guy right there, see, like when he slowed down and he waited for the guy to kind of go into his radical, he got the snapshot. But when he was aiming at the ball carrier cross map, he was twitching, and that's just violently moving your cursor, or your radical, and hoping you kind of hit the guy. And when you kind of go all violently like that, it's kind of like a hit or miss thing, like quite literally, where it is you're either going to hit him dead on or you're just going to miss. Like right here, he kind of twitches, and then he kind of slows it down and gets the 2 body shots. If you slowed it down even more, you could have gotten the headshots as well. So it's important to kind of slow down your shots. You can be aggressive and still keep a nice pacing to your shots. So I suggest you focus a little bit more on aiming. What I do when I snipe is I always make sure I have their head in the radical for like a split second and confirm it in my mind that I'm going to get the headshot before I pull the trigger. I don't just pull the trigger and hope that it's going to hit them. Now right here is why having 2 power weapons are bad. You notice that the guy he was attacking was attacking from mid-range, and he had a sniper, which is long range, and a sword, which is close range. Now, because the guy had a mid-range weapon, he just stayed at mid-range. And because of that, he ended up dying because he didn't have anything to combat the mid-range with. He only had long range, he only had close range, therefore he had no middle range. So I suggest always people keep like a BR and a sniper, or a BR and a sword. Kind of bow out and give your teammates the other power weapon. Again, it pays off in the long run. But when you die, you gave them 2 power weapons, and there's pretty much no way you could have prevented the death other than just running away, which he was kind of cornered there anyways. But you see, there's some Twitch BR right there. He's kind of shooting and just spraying right there. And he ended up getting the kill, but you want to focus on aiming and then kind of pulling the trigger. You want to make sure their headshots in your radical, or at least a body shot. Because if you just kind of spray it and like move your radical around violently and shoot, then you're not really going to get a lot of kills. And I mean, this guy has a lot of skill. I think he just needs to slow down, and it's all about just keeping a nice pacing to your game. If you're too fast, you're going to get killed. If you're too slow, the enemy's just going to win the objective because you're not doing anything. So you want to make sure you find a nice middle ground, which will really allow you to optimize staying alive and getting objectives and whatnot. So you're right here, he's contesting. Probably shouldn't contest right there. Again, it's part of that free-for-all mentality that I've been talking about. But again, you want to make sure you have full shields before you go out and fight someone who has full shields as well. Now, there's a few ways to fix Twitch sniping. I did it a lot, especially in Halo 3. I was the biggest Twitch sniper you could possibly imagine. That's all I did. And then I kind of learned to slow it down. And there's 2 ways you can slow it down, which is you really got to focus on aiming without touching the analog stick, which is what I do. I play on like 7 sensitivity, and I just really learned to slow it down real nice and get those good shots. Or you can lower your sensitivity, which I don't think works as effectively because you're still twitching. You're just twitching at a slower like velocity, I guess. So I highly recommend just getting some thorough practice and focusing on your twitch, because when you focus on it, you'll kind of get rid of it, because it's just a habit that you just got to break. There's nothing, because if you stop thinking about it, then all of a sudden you're going to go back to doing it because it's just second nature to you at this point. Now that's the first time I've ever really seen him use his armor ability in this game. I think I saw him use it one other time. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Your armor ability is the only real difference you have between you and your enemy, that and your weapon. So you really should focus on finding an armor ability that you can use all the time. Hologram, I love Hologram. It's great. You have a good choice of an armor ability. I just wish you would use it more often. That's my only complaint. Is I think you're using it well and you use it right. Just I would like to see you use it more. And swapping armor abilities to use one that's more applicable is always a great idea. I use Thruster Pack and Promethean Vision a lot now, just because Promethean Vision has application everywhere. You're about to pop up around a corner, you can jump out and use Promethean Vision. And I think that would suit your gameplay really well. You also have Thruster Pack, which will get you out of situations where you're getting shot at, which will kind of help you when you're trying to hide and you're down in a fight. Especially when plasma grenades are getting thrown at you. You wouldn't believe how many plasma grenades I've dodged just by thrusting to the left and thrusting to the right. That's a good jump right there, by the way. That's a really good jump. People don't know a lot of jumps now anymore. It's something I would highly recommend people learn the jumps. And that was a good way to use it right there. It's kind of a big shortcut from A to B. But he's doing pretty well. I'd say he's not objective focused enough, which it's okay to be a Slayer in a game, but I think everyone on your team is focused on being a Slayer. You kind of need to change your goal to objective. And he's doing it right now, which is where he's kind of chasing the ball carrier around and whatnot, and that's good. I think it's also important to work on offense. Like, he has the ball. He's going to kind of launch it. Again, you don't really want to just throw the ball like that because you can't make it from that range anyways. You really just either want to throw it off the map or throw it towards some more teammates because you're not going to make the goal from there. You always want to make sure the ball is staying in your hands because you just gave the ball to the other team. Now you got to fight for it to get it back. So again, there's just some split-second decision-making and a little bit on your aiming that I would really have complaints on, and the armor ability. I mean, other than that, let's look at what you're doing correctly. I mean, that's a good way to move the ball by yourself. I've actually never thought of that, but that's actually a pretty good idea. He's doing a good job of backing up from sword and everything, and controlling power weapons. He's brilliant use with his power weapons right during this map the whole time. Right there, I wouldn't have just thrown the ball because what you end up doing is just giving them the ball again. It's like right there, you could have thrown it backwards to your teammates, and then you would still have the ball. But now, the ball's on top mid, you gotta go to top mid and then work it back into their base. Oh look, people have already spawned there. Now you can't walk it in. You could have had 50 points, now you only get 20. And every single point matters. So again, it's all about, the end goal is worrying about your objective. We've been reading The Art of War, and he says you always want to focus on your objective. All the slaying and stuff is just means to an end to get the objective in the goal. Like right there, that's a great way to kind of move the ball in. He saw an opportunity and he took it. That was a really good play. Just you always want to make sure you're focusing on stuff like that. Now look, the score is tied up. He's got like a minute left. This is where one of the biggest things have happened in the game, which is where he's thrown it. And what he can do is just toss it in the goal right now. He would have made it. If he just tossed it right there, he would have gotten it, and that would have been 20 points. If you're tied, you only need the extra 20 points. So that's all what you should have done. If you go ahead and you don't throw the ball and you try going for the run-in, you may get extra points, but it doesn't matter. So because of that, he's going to end up tying. But again, I'd like to thank Prophecy for submitting the gameplay. Some great gameplay and everything. I hope you guys will comment, rate, subscribe for more stuff like this. If you want to send in your gameplay, go ahead and submit it to me on Xbox. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. ODST, out.